Welcome in, McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is Monday, January 5th, 7 a.m. right here on Jocks. Glad you're with us, both in studio today. And we've got a lot to get to. Transfer portal has been busy. Guys going in, guys announcing where they're going to end up coming out to. Also, college football playoffs this week. They continue. We'll begin to break those down here on the show, give you our thoughts on the matchups. We'll look back at some of the matchups from last weekend, or I guess leading into last weekend, now that we've had a chance to digest those just a little bit further. We'll get your feedback on some of the college football season, where it is, where it was, where it's going. 800-239-9569. You can always get in. You asked me when you showed up, Greg, how was the weekend? I didn't even really know how to answer that because I guess today is the day that the schedule, the calendar kind of starts to normalize itself somewhat with Christmas, New Year's, bowl games, regular games, not being places, going places. It's because it didn't even feel like a weekend really for me. It almost just felt like, okay, let's try to get back to a normal schedule here. But it is a Monday morning, and we're back on air talking college football. So I guess it's as close to normal as it's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. It's been strange for the last couple of weeks, and even today, like I got on the treadmill workout this morning. It's like, start your New Year challenge today. Join us. I'm like, New Year challenge today. It's the 5th. But I'm guessing a lot of people yesterday was the last day of the New Year's party, and today's the day that we all charge ahead. Diet start today. Start working out, get into a regimen today. Like, join our 28-day challenge starting today. Like, why today? I don't know. It's been on a complete bender for the last 4 to 5 days. So, yeah, today's the day things normalize. We're still not in school, though. Nope.
Yeah, that's one you're going to have a hard time getting me on board with this one.
What?
I just don't know. Why we start on Tuesday?
I'm not sure. Why do we do anything in school anymore? I mean, goodness gracious. I walk out of the house today and everyone in my family's still asleep. And I'd been up for 90 minutes. Literally 90 minutes.
Well, listen, you probably want it that way.
I wasn't mad at it.
When you get home,
I mean,
it's going to be easier than hearing that pitter patter at 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I promise that you'll be better off later today with that being the case. But nonetheless, the Tuesday start back after Christmas break is my wife broke that one to me yesterday, and I'm just like, make sense of it. Teachers get a day back.
Got to get organized.
Only to have your routine messed up or altered in a couple of weeks with Martin Luther King Day. So just enough time to get back in a full week routine next week, only to have it altered again.
You got to help me out with this. Like, because teachers, to me, I want to know, to me, just throw me to the deep end of the pool. You know, I don't need like a day to like get organized or whatnot. Like, I just need to just go, because I feel like today, if I were a teacher, I'm not, obviously, don't have the patience to be a teacher and have a remarkable amount of respect for those that do. I think you just gotta sink or swim today. You know what I mean? Like, first day back, if it starts on Tuesday, that's fine too. I'm not going to the office today. I can't go in the office and like have that like dress rehearsal. I can't do it. I need to just go.
Just get back into it.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like if I were a teacher, whether they start today, tomorrow, Thursday, I don't care what day it is. I don't need like office days to get it dialed in. Like, because I know I would sit there and waste time. I would not get anything done. Would you? If you had an office day, like an administrative day before you had to start school, what would you do during that administrative day?
Probably not grind.
I would do nothing. Nothing. I would just be miserable knowing that the kids are coming the next day. You know what I mean? Like, I would be in the dark spot knowing that it was about to.
Well, the one advantage I will say is that there are a lot of mom and dad teachers out there, and maybe that's the aspect that they need more than anything else.
Yeah, like a day for them to kind of get organized, buttoned up. Yeah. They have rest and relaxation.
That would probably be very beneficial from that perspective.
1,000,000%.
But it does seem just a little odd that we're going to give you that one extra day, and then we'll get back into it. So they'll start back tomorrow. We have college football to discuss today. Thursday, you get the Fiesta Bowl, the 10 seed Miami against the 6 seed. I don't know why seed and rank. I can't get it normalized in my brain. 10th ranked Miami, 6th-ranked Ole Miss in the Fiesta Bowl. That'll be 6:30 on ESPN. 12-2 Miami, 13-1 Ole Miss. We'll discuss that game a little bit today. Friday, Peach Bowl, 6:30 on ESPN. The 5th-ranked, or I almost did it again, 5th-ranked Oregon, 1st-ranked Indiana. 1 seed still Indiana. Can we call Indiana the 1 seed and the number 1 ranked team?
Yes.
Why can't we just go to seeds?
Well, yeah, that is seeds, kind of.
I just got a text from a teacher. Same for us today. We do nothing today.
Huh.
Like
Who knew?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
You're doing something. Listen to the radio.
Being in the classroom with no kids, to me feels like just you're keeping me on the clock. Like, just let me go do my thing.
So you're saying you go Aaron Rodgers full darkness retreat, just nothing, being a void?
I don't know what I do, but being in my classroom sans kids to me would it would make me feel uneasy. You know what I mean? It'd be like, I don't know. You know, like
we were at my son's basketball game yesterday. My wife said to one of her friends that is a teacher, "Good luck tomorrow." And I said, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Well, she goes back to school tomorrow." And I said, "I thought the kids were out." She said, "They are." And I said, "Well, what does she need luck with then?"
Yeah. I need the prayers when the kids are in the classroom. I can handle the quietness. I can handle the peace.
Nice to be thoughtful, but you should probably be wishing her husband good luck.
100%.
He's going to be staying home with the kids and probably trying to work. Like, he's the one that needs the luck, not her.
Imagine this thought process. We all work here at Jocks. Imagine Haney saying to us, "Hey, guys, you don't have a show on January 1st, whatever day it is. We're actually, no, let's just use in a week from now. You guys do not have to do a show on Martin Luther King Day. You don't have to do a show that day. But you need to come and be in the office." What?
Talk about a waste of time.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the administrative days, man, we need to just dump them. Let's give the teachers the full time off. You know, that's our movement here in 26.
We'll get on that. A lot of organization that's going to happen today, and they'll get things lined up. The portal is attempting to organize itself.
How's that going?
It's a lot.
Feel good about the organization?
There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to talk about. Quarterbacks are a big part of the conversation when it comes to the portal. We're going to hit that today. Some news, though, around Auburn and Alabama. Defensive back Cam Calhoun for Alabama, edge Keelan Keeley, wide receiver Rico Scott, offensive tackle Wilkin Formby, have all announced that they're going to enter the transfer portal. Starting with those names, any big surprises to you there? Anything that sticks out for you there as far as guys that have gone into the transfer portal?
No, nobody that's been a shock. The one thing that I've found strange, and this is more hypothetical, how many people assume that Ty Simpson's going into the portal, or he's like, what? I've had more people ask me, "Hey, what's Ty going to do? Go in the portal?" I'm like, why would he go in the portal?
Well, it only takes one of these Twitter accounts to say he's weighing his options of NFL, portal, or return, and what gets people going when you say that?
Well, I mean,
if that report said he's considering the NFL or a return to Alabama, people would say, "Okay, thought so." But when you throw in portal to somewhere else, that raises eyebrows, so people then take that and run with it. And that's what happened over the weekend. I don't remember the first account to do it or the only account to do it that everybody then counted as the gospel, but I wouldn't even consider that to be real. And then it became, if he doesn't get a first round grade, then he'll consider portal. I mean, okay. Per who?
Yeah.
I don't, I'm with you. It felt weird to me, but either way.
The other one, I'm still amazed at how many people are wetting their pants about the fact that Keelan Keeley's in the portal.
I thought he did some nice things.
There was a lot of
good
things, but let's not pretend like this guy's the top 5 pick coming out of high school that he was a couple years ago. He's not Dylan Stewart. Oh, we can't let him leave. Why not? What? He's a rotational player that's solid and showed progress last year. I thought he actually did a nice job.
Yeah.
I don't want him to leave. I can promise you this. I'm not paying him like a 5-star anymore. 0 shot. No, look at these scouting reports. Like first round. Reminds us of Chase Young.
Okay, well, Chase Young, after year 2, hasn't necessarily lived up to his draft billing. Wouldn't you agree? Did some good things yesterday.
Wasn't bad in college. I don't care about his draft. All I care about is the fact that this guy, Keon Keeley's drawing comparisons, according to Andrew Irvin's director of scouting for 247 Sports, of Chase Young. I would respectfully disagree.
As a college player, probably not.
No. And I'm not saying I don't want him.
Size-wise, okay.
Sure.
Give you that.
Great. You know what? Because you are the exact same size right now as William Refrigerator Perry. Doesn't mean I'm going to hand to you on the goal line.
Why not? Also, Cole Adams, Micah DeBose, Peter Notaro, Noah Carter, Jalen Hale, Joseph Iannata, Jalen Mbakwe in the portal. Mbakwe committed to Ole Miss over the weekend.
How do you feel about Formby?
There's a certain podcast that'll be excited about that. They'll have less to talk about.
How do you like him?
He has experience. He's played.
Not a loss is what you're telling me.
I would say right now for the Alabama offensive line, everybody's a loss because you need competition and you need experience. Do I think he can get better and be a decent college football player? I do. Has he played well up to this point? No. But I would just say specifically at that spot, I want competition and I want bodies.
Yeah.
Because I think the reason some of the guys played last year was because you didn't have other bodies to be able to compete with them. And by the way, that's not an Alabama problem. That's a problem in a lot of places. So, is he a plug and go, all SEC, all Big Ten, all ACC right now, going to help put you in the playoff? No. But he has real experience and he's got some talent. So I think he's a guy that you probably want on your roster for a lot of those reasons. Now, when it comes to what you're going to spend, how you're going to spend, what he's commanding, I don't know the answers to those, and I wouldn't overspend on him. No, absolutely not. But I know there's a lot of people that celebrated it based on a couple things that they saw. But
celebrating the good, like they didn't want him to go in the portal.
Glad that he's in. Yay. There weren't a lot of please don't goes on that offensive line this year. I'll just say that. And specifically when a couple were dinged up late in the year, there weren't many spots that looked incredible. So,
answer me this.
Need all the help you can get is what I'm saying.
So answer me this. If you couldn't play on that offensive line, would you want one of the depth guys?
If you're excited about him leaving, but you're also excited about keeping some of your 2s and 3s, I would question your mindset there. Now, if you just want to go out and get a bunch of dudes that played other places and have better reps, go for it. Can you get them? Be the question. Number one. I don't know. Maybe. So it's this where this portal thing comes to be a little bit murky, is people are excited to see guys go. And then as we've talked about, then become, oh yeah, we're really pumped up about this guy that we're going to get. But all you know is that, where Max Olson has him ranked. And we know how that went. Who was the number one tackle in the portal last year? The kid that jumped off size 5 times at Oklahoma?
Don't you dare.
What? Did he not?
No, number one guy went to Oregon.
Isaiah World?
Yeah.
Who has not played very well this year, by the way. And I actually thought he was going to be incredible.
Joe Moore finalist.
They have a good offensive line.
Joe Moore finalist.
He individually has not been great. He's had some letdowns. Put the Texas Tech film on. Look at defense.
Well,
by the way, record, what should that score have been in that game?
That was the worst
35-0?
That was the worst football game I've ever seen.
I'll give him 6. 35-6, even though there are no should-haves in football.
How can you
remember what
6?
Everybody told you? Defense.
If you're putting that on Texas Tech's defense, you are high as a kite.
How many throws did he miss in that game?
The quarterback at Texas Tech?
No, the quarterback from Oregon. He had throws.
Like he made throws?
He missed some throws.
He missed a lot. He didn't miss as many as a Texas Tech quarterback. If you're putting it on the Texas Tech defense, I'm
not putting it on him. I'm just saying there are people that told you that Oregon wouldn't get a yard.
I don't know about that. I thought Texas Tech's defense played their tail off in that game.
Fool's gold.
Their offense was pathetically embarrassing.
Not good.
Maybe the worst offensive. That was the worst quarterback performance I've seen in a high stakes environment in a very long time. I mean, it was
a little dicey.
I mean, if they asked him to do like a pitch, he would have hit the guy in the shoelaces. I mean, it's unbelievable.
All right, so Auburn sees Tay Seymour, James Ash head to the portal over the weekend. Most of Auburn's portal entries were already done. Still no decision from Cam Coleman. Xavier Chaplin hadn't found a landing spot yet. Still in the portal, waiting.
How do we feel about this? Honest question here. I like USF. I think USF had some really good players on it. And we've seen with success what Kurt Signetti's done in bringing 13 guys from James Madison with them to Indiana and kind of jumpstarting the engine. Do we like that approach from Auburn?
For certain guys, I think so. Because from a receiver standpoint, you're going to need numbers. So you get Corey Pettigrew, you get Christian Neptune, some guys that I think at least are going to know the route tree. They're going to know the system. They're going to know the verbiage.
Yeah.
You get another quarterback in Lachlan Hewlett, who I think maybe down the road one day can help you, but it gives you another body that knows how that thing's going to operate. So you feel pretty good about that. Now, if you're just going to tell me the entire roster is going to come, I'd say no. Not what you need, not what you want.
They're like 13 guys. Like James Madison had 13 guys. I think that's about right. My problem is that the SEC is a little different animal than the Big Ten. And while it's worked beautifully at the Big Ten, I feel like speed would be helpful.
It would be helpful, but I'm going to take that Indiana model, and that is going to be understanding, wherewithal, effort, and that maybe that's a part of it. Is that some of the guys he's bringing from USF, he knows. Golesh knows right now. He knows the kind of individual he's getting.
Yeah, you're the person,
and you're probably going from what 75,000 a year to 150, 200 minimum, and so he knows. Hey, these guys are going to be very appreciative of what they're getting.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And it's not like USF stunk. USF was very good and played against SEC competition. You have real world reps. USF played Florida. USF played Miami. Like you have real world reps. You can go back and like reference with your evaluation process. It's not like you're watching them play the Little Sisters of the Poor. Like I don't know, the list translate. Like I think it makes sense. I'm curious how many.
Antoine Jackson tweets into the show, never start school back at the beginning of the week. Going from no school to a full week for kids is a nightmare. Always start back on a Thursday, 2 days of work, then the weekend.
So hard. I can't believe how hard it is for these kids to go to school. My first grader, guess what they're asking them to do at school? They ask them to like color between the lines. It's insane. To do that 5 days in a row, fresh off Christmas break, I don't even know. What are we even trying? We can't try that. That's too much. Let's make it a little easier for the 7-year-olds.
Color between the lines, though.
What?
I think some of them do more than color between the lines.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding me? Seriously? In school?
Occasionally.
Stop. Let's not get carried away. Here. They had to. The other day, he brought home some homework. Dude, he had to do addition. 5 + 2.
Teachers, you're grinding out there, and I know it. I'm on your side. It's more than coloring between the lines.
You just talked about we're referencing the tweet. That's not to do with the teachers. That has everything to do with the fact that the kids, it's too much to ask them to go to 5 days of school coming off a Christmas break. Are you kidding me? It's too much. Can't do it. What? The kids don't know any better. They can go to school for 5 days just like we did, and we walked to school uphill both ways in the snow.
I just saw a portal commitment that I'm trying to double check that it's real because I kind of don't believe it right now. I will check it during the break. We'll get back to it on the other side and talk quarterbacks in and out of the portal next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, Monday, January 5th, 7:22 a.m. He joins us each and every week at this time to talk college football. You can hear him live 2 to 6 p.m. right here on Jock. See him on ESPN. See him on the SEC Network. It's Paul Finebaum.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, crane works, rental works, yeah, the big dog's got it.
Paul Finebaum on Mac and Cube in the morning is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it, the big dog's got it. Now, Paul Finebaum.
Paul, always great to have you in on a Monday morning. We've had a couple of days to sit on it now. What do you view Kalen DeBoer and his status at Alabama with what this team accomplished and did not accomplish this season?
Well, it's a very mixed bag. I think almost everyone with whom I've spoken likes Kalen DeBoer and thinks he is a very good football coach. Maybe a top-tier football coach, but everyone that I've also talked to asks the same question: is he the right coach for Alabama? And you just have to pick your poison when you're talking about him. He has tremendous accomplishments, but Thursday afternoon in Pasadena shattered a lot of the belief that this program is going to get to where a lot of folks thought it could get, and that's a championship situation. And I don't have an answer on this Monday morning, and I'm all ears to anyone who does. But that was a shattering loss, one that I simply cannot even wrap my arms around. For all the reasons that you probably already discussed. But really what Kalen DeBoer does now and how he fills in the necessary voids in this program to make it what Alabama fans want is the ultimate question on whether he will be successful long-term or not.
What do you think? How do you explain last week, Paul? Like why do you think it went the way it went?
Well, I think you have to start with the fact that the other team was elite.
100%. Agree with that.
And I don't think you probably knew that, Greg, because you've been around that program, but a lot of us didn't. And it was hard for, I think, many who believe that there's nothing like the grind of the SEC could believe another program which doesn't go through that type of 8-game grind would be as good, but they were. And I think that was as shattering to many of us as anything. And I just think even though you're playing arguably, probably not arguably, the best team in the country right now, you still felt like Alabama should have competed better. And I think that's the puzzling part of the equation.
What do you think of this juggling act that Pete Golding and Ole Miss are now having to deal with deep into the playoffs? We knew what it was going to be concerning whether they would even help coach at all, whether they would be gone. Mostly that conversation was around the head coach, but now you have some assistants that are flying to Baton Rouge to recruit out of the portal, then coming back to coordinate or coach positions in Oxford. How do you view exactly what's taking place with that staff right now in the midst of a playoff run?
I think it's incredibly sad, and there's one person that can make all this easier, and that's Lane Kiffin. And Lane Kiffin is badly losing the PR battle. I know he's working hard. I mean, I would love to look at Lane Kiffin's phone right now, guys. And you could probably attest to this, and to see how many media members that he has texted, trying to spin them on how much he cares about the Ole Miss program. But it's pretty obvious he doesn't. He cares about where he is now, which is understandable, but I think it also negates a lot of what he said leading into his departure, that he really wanted to stay there. I think it turns out that Keith Carter and the administration at Ole Miss made a very good decision, because I don't think Ole Miss would have beaten Georgia had Lane Kiffin been going back and forth between Baton Rouge and Oxford. And I'm not going to try to sound like I'm a peacekeeper for the UN, but I think it's really tragic that more hasn't been done by all parties, but mainly Lane Kiffin, to make this transition for Ole Miss easier as they get ready to go to the Fiesta Bowl.
What do you think? How is Pete Golding already this far ahead of schedule? I wonder if, like you said, Paul, if there was a galvanizing effect that occurred because of Lane's departure, and maybe that's allowed them to reach the next level, like internally. How do you characterize it?
Well, I think, Greg, you experienced it firsthand in New Orleans, and there was something that I was unprepared for. You could not mention Lane Kiffin's name around Ole Miss people without the risk of them taking your head off. I mean, there was a passion. I'm talking about fans. I didn't deal with the players like you did, but there was a passion around that fan base and that in that university that I had never seen before. And I think that helped them, at least overall, get to a point where maybe they really weren't capable of. I didn't think they could beat Georgia. I knew Georgia's flaws, and everyone else did too. But I think it trickled down, or it started with the team, and somehow Golden just played a very cool hand. I've been around him a lot, and I've never seen him as measured as he was leading up to that game. And I think those little things that were the difference between winning and losing, I think just came as a result. I know this sounds like I'm in some weird class at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to teach karma and all that, but I'm not. It was real, and those players did something that I did not think they were capable of, and I think a lot of it just. They felt betrayed too, and how that equates to a little bit of extra on an unbelievable Trinidad Chambliss play, I don't know, but what we saw it in real time on Thursday night.
Paul Finebaum joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. He's with us thanks to Craneworks each and every week. What do you now make of Pete Golding, though, as the head coach? Is this still a little bit wait and see? Should we be taking this as impressive as it feels on the surface that he's been able to go out and win 2 playoff games? Where are you on Pete Golding now as the Ole Miss head coach after what you've seen through 2 college football playoff games?
I think you have to take it as what it is. There are a lot of coaches out there who are still trying to beat Kirby Smart, who's the best coach in the country, on a stage like that. That's not just some off-brand Saturday game in September. I mean, that was the national quarterfinals, and it was incredibly impressive, especially when it wasn't a perfect game. I mean, there were so many mistakes that were made even by Golding and his staff that they were able to overcome. I'm always hesitant to go ahead and give a guy a lifetime contract after 2 games, but certainly if anyone's ever deserving of complete and total support, it's Pete Golding. He is playing with house money right now. I think he also has, he's a guy that very few people outside the football world had heard of until last Thursday, and now I think he's somewhat of America's team. So I think he's got a real opportunity to cement himself. He's already won the biggest football game in Ole Miss history in the last 60 years. So think of all the other people who have tried to do that and failed, including Lane Kiffin.
Paul, finally, we have 4 teams remaining. One's from the SEC. We've talked already about Ole Miss. The Big Ten's going to have another team in the championship with 2 teams playing against each other in Atlanta. Obviously, much to the chagrin of SEC faithful, the Big Ten's in a really good position again. And it might just be the bad boys from Miami, which they love to be they're kind of America's team in many ways too, but they also have the same swagger that drove people nuts in the early 2000s. So what do you make of the 4 teams remaining? What does it say about the college football world, the landscape, just kind of overarching thoughts?
Well, I understand what the numbers are right now. The bowl numbers are important, and I'm not going to belittle them. But the game Thursday night is for everything. If Ole Miss loses that game, there is no propping up what we all believe in, and most of our audience thinks is accurate, that the SEC is the best league in the country. It is the best league, but if you're not in the championship game 3 consecutive years and you lay major eggs in significant games. I'm not talking about a pre-Christmas game. I'm talking about playoff games, important games. Then there really isn't much defense. I don't know what the winter is going to be like if Ole Miss is out of it by midnight Thursday, but I have a pretty good sense of it, and it's going to be very long and very cold. And those of us who really love this league and have tried to, and I know that people will laugh in Ohio and Michigan and Indiana, try to objectively defend it, are going to get run over by the mob.
I want to go back to that Sugar Bowl that Greg just brought up a moment ago. When you just look at the coaching acumen in that game, because for the first half, it looked like Pete Golding was going to get walked on by Kirby Smart. That completely flipped in the second half. What did you leave that game? We already asked you about Pete Golding, but from Kirby Smart's coaching perspective there, what did you leave that game thinking about just that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really an important aspect of this. And I don't want to come down too much on Kirby Smart because I still believe very, very strongly in him. And he's got 2 SEC championships in his back pocket the last 2 years. But the Sugar Bowl games are going to seriously affect him in that program. I didn't think this was a perfect Georgia team, but they managed to win games, as we all know. But the way they lost that game, I think, is going to haunt them and haunt Kirby Smart in the offseason. Again, Ohio State was the bigger story in my mind. Alabama got all the headlines. But the fact that Ohio State didn't get out of Dallas on Wednesday was probably even more significant to me than Georgia. But it's still a tough look, and Georgia fans can beat their chests and talk about we still won 2 championships in 21 and 22. That's great, but I felt empty, and I don't want to diminish the SEC championship. That's significant, but both of these last 2 years of winning the SEC championship and then immediately losing in the Sugar Bowl leave a rather hollow feeling about the Georgia program right now.
Paul, always appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to catching up next week.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
That's Paul Finebaum joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline with us every Monday. Thanks to our friends at Craneworks. I want to go back to that game because we didn't spend a lot of time on it Friday. You and I were both there in person. You and I both got a front row seat to that game and just kind of how it played out and what it was. And I do think the coaching discussion around it is very interesting, and I think it can go a lot of different directions. So we'll have that conversation, begin to discuss kind of Pete Golding versus Kirby Smart from a coaching analysis in the Sugar Bowl. Haven't really had that part of the discussion either. Flu season is here. Make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. Removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters. 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. Find a dealer near you at Trane.com. It's hard to stop a Trane. Back to discuss some of the college football playoff games that we have not taken a deep dive on just yet. That's next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. 800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. You want to talk portal? You want to talk college football playoff games coming up this week? Look back at college football playoff games from last week. One thing that we have not done, spent a lot of time on some of the other games from last week outside of Alabama, Indiana in the Rose Bowl, which Indiana takes down the Crimson Tide 38-3. Miami takes down Ohio State 24-14 in the Cotton Bowl. We did talk a little bit about Oregon, Texas Tech in the first segment in the Orange Bowl, but that Sugar Bowl, Greg, Ole Miss 39, Georgia 34. We talked a little bit with Paul about some of the coaching in that game, and I haven't seen a lot of it. Also haven't gone out of my way to read a lot of different things that people have said about it, probably just because I was there to see it. But one of the more surprising parts of it, I thought, was how hyper-aggressive Kirby Smart was in the second half of that game. Going for it on fourth downs, multiple fake kicks, the different shifts in kick formations to try to do different things, not taking field goals late. What did you make of that part of how Kirby Smart approached the second half of that game specifically?
Well, it's funny because I felt like aggressiveness was kind of on display by both sides. I mean, Dan Lanning, Pete Golding going for 2 early in the game, sensing like, hey man, probably not gonna get a lot of stops here. Like, probably gonna need to get 2 here when we can get it.
Especially if you looked at that score late, there were multiple times you looked up at it and said, boy, that extra point would have been nice right now.
Would have been nice, yeah, for sure. I mean, there were multiple times you're thinking that, but hey, hindsight's 2020. Like, everyone's always like, oh, that was a bad call. Yeah, obviously. We know. I don't know about 4th and 1 at your own 32 for Bama. I do. Like, I think it was the right decision. It's just the wrong play. I don't know about the one that I didn't understand, though, is the 4th and 2 that Georgia went for. I can live with going for it, especially when you know that Chambliss probably not getting stopped. Like, probably not happening. The guy was out of his mind in the second half of that football game, and I bet if I'm Kirby, I probably acknowledge that too. But I feel like you create more disarray when you try to go with the trickery, run the punt team on, run the offense on. There's like, you got communication issues. You got all of a sudden the left side of the offensive line doesn't even get off the ball. I don't even know if they're supposed to snap it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's all these other questions about it. It's like it's doing too much. Like, you're Georgia. You're one of the best teams in college football, one of the most talented teams in college football. Your quarterback, while maybe not as outrageously explosive as Trinidad Chambliss, pretty dang sporty himself. Don't try to make it more complicated than it needs to be. If you want to go for it on 2, just leave your offense out there and go and get it. That's my biggest push. Not that dissimilar to the Bama conversation. It's like, y'all, you're Bama. Like, it's 4th and 1. You don't need to run a dang jet sweep. You know what I mean? Hey, you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't need to run a Vegas pitch on 4th and 1 from the goal line at the end of half when you got 2 guys outside the tackle. Like, just run the rock. I mean, too much.
Yeah, and it just we talked about it during the break, and you mentioned like maybe Kirby didn't think that they could get a lot of stops, and I also felt like the difference was the stuff with Pete in the first half felt a little more organizational, and just felt like guys maybe not being on the same page. But it was also things that hadn't really happened. They didn't happen the previous week. I mean, you had drops from guys you didn't expect.
Yeah.
I mean, Daquan Wright hadn't had a lot of drops this year. You know, Caden Lee hadn't had a lot of drops this year. The Daquan Wright thing not going out of bounds. I mean, it's if we had seen that 3 or 4 times with him, the head coach, then I think maybe you point to him and say, what are they doing? But that could have just been one guy not doing what they had discussed, and
that's Daquan Wright going rogue.
Yeah.
I mean, you can blame the coach because ultimately, yeah, that's one of the downsides to a no huddle operation. Because I was saying it on the broadcast. I don't know if y'all were too. I'm sure you probably were. Hey, you got to get out of bounds here. You got to get out of bounds here. And if you're a huddle operation, you can remind everybody of that.
Right. And you're able to have that conversation of, guys, we have to get out of bounds. And you know those plays are probably going to take you there.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have a shot at the end zone and just kick from where you were. But the appearance of it going to halftime was, man, Pete may be in trouble from a coaching perspective here. Like, Kirby may have his number. And that flipped in the second half. And I felt like some of that was self-inflicted. also, I'll go back to, and it's easy to do it now. It's easy to do it at this point. But what was giving Georgia the most problems when they were on offense? It's Eccles and Harris, right?
Up front movement,
Yeah.
right over the center.
And they were all over the place. And then you saw maybe 2 runs that were direct north and south runs, like an inside zone or a duo that hit, and they just never went back to it. And that to me was maybe one of the most egregious parts of Georgia in that game. Is I felt like personally, and we've talked about this when teams playing Oklahoma this year, we've talked about all the movement you're getting from everybody this year, and teams that find a way to calm it down is you got to go right at them some to at least calm it down. And I mean, I asked Ryan Grubb this on the field before the Oklahoma game, the second Oklahoma game. I said, how much do you have to go right at them to just try and calm it down? He said, there has to be part of your plan that you implement to say, we are going to attack you directly north and south because we have to at least show you that this can get you in trouble. The way you live can get you in trouble. And I thought Georgia had a chance to do it. I thought they did it once or twice, and then all of a sudden it was gone. That was just one of the other things from the plan that I looked at, Greg, and said, I don't know how or why this is going this direction.
Fair. I felt like Georgia had more in the tank with their 12 and 13 personnel runs. And I do think when Nate Frazier got hurt, they lost. Dude, Nate Frazier
he's good.
He's really good, dude. I mean, when he's out there, you can just tell he runs different. I mean, McCray's fine. Bowens is good. Cash Jones, not a guy I won't run a duo very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's probably not that guy.
Probably not that guy. So I think all things considered, him being out just a hair it did impact their plan a bit. Like, I think there was more in the tank in the run game. If you look at the way they were getting movement there early with some of their counter stuff, and look, the defensive tackles for Ole Miss played their tail off. Like, Xavier Harris, I thought was fine, got a little high late, but Eccles was outstanding in the game. They couldn't block him. I mean, he was swimming around guys. I think they really missed Bobo in the game. I don't want to say that because I think Tolliver has been filled in admirably, but having a guy that could kind of calm it down and just they just didn't feel like they were in unison the way they needed to be in a game like that.
Yeah.
In the second half especially. How would you assess the O-line?
Inconsistent.
Very, right?
Mm-hmm. And part of that, too, I mean, you had a couple guys getting banged up there, had to move some different guys around. You had your backup center in, who I know I talked to Stacey Searles before the game. He said they felt confident with him. He did admit there were some things they did in the SEC championship game to offset, try to make his life a little bit easier, but that there would be none of that in this game, that it was full go, full speed ahead. They weren't concerned about, there wasn't going to be more under center. There wasn't going to be anything else that they had to do to sort of assist him or help him let his life be a little bit easier. That wasn't a real thing. So even though you had your backup center in, they had full confidence that he could be sort of that guy moving forward, and it wasn't going to be a problem. So I was surprised that Kirby felt the need to be that aggressive in a couple of those spots in that game. Now, maybe from an injury perspective, health perspective, looking back on it, there were things that he was thinking that we weren't talking about yet or we weren't paying attention to. Here's another one that I wanted to go back to within that game, and one that I don't think anybody has spent near enough time talking about is the missed field goal that Georgia had early-ish third quarter.
The short one?
40-something.
Yeah, he kicked it. It was like, I think it was 51. He left it short.
Yeah, which, again, this is not one that you would second-guess attempting the field goal. But I do think it's worth going back and having a conversation about because of what it did. And maybe me being on the sideline, I had a different vantage point, and it's a little bit unfair as far as kind of what I saw it end up being. When Georgia kicked this field goal, it was a 55-yard attempt. 8:33 left in the third. If you go back to, I'm going to go back to Ole Miss drives before that missed field goal. So they scored just before that. Wait, hold on. The missed field goal would have been towards the end of the third. Ole Miss lost possession on downs. The end of the half, we saw that possession obviously ran out of time.
Uh-huh.
punted before that, fumbled before that, and then scored a touchdown on their first possession of the second quarter before that.
Yeah.
So more than a full quarter of game time, they had done nothing except turn the ball over, punt, and go to the end of the half.
Yes.
The reason that I felt like this was important is the emotion I saw from the Ole Miss sideline after that missed field goal was a lot. And I immediately thought, like, okay, it was a missed field goal. Like, it's not that big a deal. But then I thought back to myself, that's the first time they've had anything to be excited about in almost a quarter and a half of football.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Georgia right there and you punt that ball and you pin them, there's no emotion. There's no motivation from the team. Nothing sways back over to the Ole Miss side.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have all the confidence in the world in your defense, you run a little more clock. Even if the ball goes in the end zone, is the Ole Miss sideline going crazy?
No.
So I'm not questioning the coaching decision there, Greg, but I'm saying I felt like that was a massively understated point in the game where momentum shifted, and it didn't have to. Because right then, right there, I thought the Ole Miss players utilized that. And they went and scored a touchdown right after that, too.
Yeah.
Now, 7 plays, 63 yards. You can say, oh, the defense, whatever. That's fine. But there had been almost no momentum on the Ole Miss sideline for a long period of time, and that was just maybe a little bit that they needed right there to be able to get back in that game. Not questioning the coaching call, but just saying something that potentially could have been avoided from the Georgia side.
It probably was doubly disappointing because you're sitting there thinking like, golly, Ole Miss's kicker just hit one from the parking lot twice. You know what I mean? Like, it probably hurt even more because you basically knew that if Ole Miss got to the 40-yard line, it was 3 points. So not only did it crush momentum, but it also put in that seed of doubt at the end, like, golly, if this becomes a field goal fest, which none of us anticipated, then their guy has a lot more juice than ours.
It's possible. I thought that was one that stuck out to me that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about.
No, I love it.
Referencing that game.
It's a good observation.
All right, we'll hear from some of these coaches that are still in the playoff. We have more to talk about as it pertains to the college football playoff, and we'll do that next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Hour number 2, we're going to go into transfer portal quarterbacks. Who is the best quarterback available or has been available in the transfer portal? We'll have that discussion. Also, discussion around the landing spots for a couple of quarterbacks that are making those announcements of where they're going to end up, where to go. Keep in mind, where can you listen to the show? It's easy. Right here on Jocks in Birmingham. You can listen online, jocksfm.com. You've got the app in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Listen on the go. Watch us live on YouTube each and every day. Just search Jocks945 or tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year, the national champion of GMC dealers. I'm actually getting my vehicle serviced today. I've been talking with the guys up there for a while. They've done such a great job taking care of our family. I know they'll take great care of your family as well. I've always been grateful. I've always been appreciative of the experience I get every single time I visit with Andy Cole and Jonathan Yeager. They're incredible service staff. Kennedy does an amazing job handling the service. I'm just very, very grateful for what they do. And that's why I'm a repeat customer, just like 75% of their business, because you can go get a GMC Sierra 1500 SLT, $15,000 off the sticker price. Even though it's no longer the end of the year, the deals continue on at Bill Smith. All you got to do is go take the short drive up to Coleman. You'll see what I'm talking about. I-65, exit 310, Highway 31. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
We'll hear from Kurt Signetti, Pete Golding, Mario Cristobal, Dan Lanning getting set for college football playoffs back this week. Got a couple midweek games that you have to be excited about. Playoff football on a Thursday, playoff college football on a Friday night lights from Atlanta. Have to be excited about that. We'll get to all of those. Some of the transfer quarterbacks that are out there. Clark Brooks going to join us at 8:20 to give us a little more statistical analysis on some of these players in the portal. Some may be exactly what we're thinking. Some maybe not exactly what people are thinking. We'll go into all of those, let you know how Auburn, Alabama's portal classes are looking, the defections, how concerned should you be. A lot more college football coming up. That's all the next 2 hours right here on Jocks.